This is Slip and the Man. We are back, ready to give you our hot takes, our opinions, our viewpoints, our thoughts, or whatever we're going to give you. And you'll be happy that we've given it to you. It's been a while. It's been so long that the Mitch Man is now the Postman. Post, how you doing today?
I'm doing amazing. How about you, Slip? It's good to
Man,
be back.
I'm doing fantastic. I'm a little bit nervous watching this Braves game, but overall, I think that the Braves have gotten off to a very good start in this very exciting MLB season. There's a lot of things going on, and the fun thing is, right now, it's not that we just talk about one of our teams doing well. We can talk about both of our teams doing well. When you
That's
think
absolutely
about how the Pirates are starting off thus far, how are you feeling?
amazed. I mean, I was more in shock because I knew that the pieces they got in the offseason were going to be benefit the team
Hmm.
tremendously, but not the leap that they have taken in their leadership and just how they've meshed together with the team as a whole unit, and just how there's been few post game interviews so far this season where Kutch has said it, Holderman just said it tonight, that there's no egos on this team. We're all in it together
Hmm.
for one mission, and that's to win the NL Central. And that speaks dividends for the moves that they made. They got the right pieces, especially the main one, obviously, is getting Kutch back. That,
Right, right.
without a doubt, was a dream free agent pickup for me. I was just throwing out there like that. He just needs to
Hmm.
come back, but I didn't think they were going to do it, and they actually did. And I was blessed enough to be able to go to the home opener to be able to stand and get my ovation for Kutch too. So that was special to me
Yeah,
and
I
my
know
brother as
that's an
well.
amazing
Yeah.
experience. I know that's an amazing experience, and we've talked about this before, about how, um, you know, this reminds me of the 2013 Pirates.
Absolutely.
It
And that's
is it
more and
too
more
early
every
to
day.
say that? I don't know, but it looks like it. They
It's
really
just
do look like them.
the vibes, and them having fun and just going out and when you're having fun like that. And I had an experience in my um, Legion baseball in the summer where there was one year we lost some good players. We weren't that great, but we had some good players, obviously, but we
Hmm.
weren't like supposed to be anything great. But we
Right.
were just out there having fun. We would go out and do things outside of the games, and we'd go golfing or whatever, and and just hanging out, and we just had an amazing chemistry. And that's what it comes down to, is the chemistry. When you mesh and you all have on the same page, and we killed it. I mean, we the Beast of the East is our biggest tournament back home, and teams from all over the East, even some teams in Canada, even come down and play in
No
it. We
shit.
actually finished to go into the first place bracket that year, and every other year I played 5 years of Legion. That was our only year we made it, and it was that team because we were just having fun out there, having fun, and just the chemistry we had. And that, I think that's one of the biggest factors that gets overlooked on teams. You can have the best lineup on paper, but if that team doesn't mesh right, you're not. It's just not going to work.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. It's something that the Braves have as well, and it's probably something that's contributed them being um, NL East champions 5 years in a row,
Yeah,
and they're starting off like they're ready to go for a six without even stopping, which is amazing.
it is.
It's really tough to do that, especially when you think about the teams that they're going against when they weren't the favorite to win their division right now. They weren't even the second favorite, which is absolutely amazing when looking at this core team that's been going year after year. And kind of, I'm hoping for you, that's what the Pirates can turn into. But
Absolutely.
let's
I would have
talk
loved
about your division though. You
it.
got a
That's
Brewers
what's
team
been
that's looking rejuvenated. The
yep.
Cardinals are always there, even if they're like good for half the
Slow
year or
start.
not. They always seem to be there. The Reds are going to be pesky enough to do something to hurt somebody's chances. And even the Cubs are looking pretty decent. It's
Yeah, Cubs are
a
cool.
lot of people going on there. a lot of things going on. How do you look at your chances with
I
within the division?
I still think they have a good chance. I mean, especially they've only played St. Louis and Cincinnati head to head so far this season, and they had a 4-game series on the road in St. Louis last week, and they ended up splitting the series 2-2, and that's what I was going into it. That's what I was hoping for. If they can split the series, that's a huge win because going on the road against a team they've struggled with in recent history, and especially they had a chance to win the series on Sunday, and then they ended up blowing it late in the game. But even then, just even being in that position, in every game in that series, it just felt like that 2013 to 2015 season that we spoke of, like this, how it just feels like that team and vibe again. It's just their competition. They're in close games, almost every game besides the Colorado series last series when they absolutely just
that
scored
was a hell of a series, scoring
33
10
runs.
more than in 2 games.
33 runs in 3 games. That's the most they've scored in a 3-game series since 2002.
Yeah,
on the road. And it's just that their offense, everything is clicking for them. It's just their offense. I mean, and they just got their 11th straight consecutive quality start.
Mm-hmm.
For a rotation, you cannot tell me anybody. I mean, that's hard to do for the best rotations in baseball to be that consistent day in and game in and game out.
Any team.
Yeah, and you got Mitch Keller, who improved a lot last year, but he still hasn't really proven himself. I mean, you have no one in that rotation. I mean, you got Rich Hill, Dick Mountain, who is in there. He's somehow got 2 quality starts in his last 2, but that the offense has been helping him. And the one game I think gave up 3 runs early on, but that offense was there to give him run support right away, and then that helped him pitch later in the game. And that's the big thing. It's just everything's clicking on all sides of the game right now, and obviously it's a long season with 162 games, so I'm just living in a moment right now. But there is promising signs in Pittsburgh, and then I'm just loving every second of it.
Yeah, I mean, it just really speaks to the kind of ball that they're playing and the kind of ball that you need to play to be sustainable. You got to be able to keep your team in games. Absolutely. No matter what the other team is doing, you have to be able to limit them to be able to help your offense stay in games. And if you're able to keep your offense staying in games, it gives you a higher probability to not only take advantage of games in the beginning, but also make sure that you're able to have a comeback. How many times in previous years has there been times when y'all couldn't make a comeback? It was already out of reach.
Yep, exactly.
And when you're having quality starts, even though it's not the best statistic out there, but one thing that it does say is that, hey, my team is at least being competitive right now, or can be competitive. And that's what matters. It's a very good blueprint that the Braves had throughout their run of division titles, that their pitchers keep them in games.
Exactly.
And it's a combination of a lot of things, whether it's the bullpen and the starting rotation that's had a lot of good pitchers, but that's what they've had to do.
Yep. And if one picks up the other, if one, you have a really good start and then the bullpen's there, or sometimes, the starter kind of gets hit around a little bit and gets up some runs and the offense really isn't on, but at least the bullpen's there to hold him in. It's just, like I said, It's all comes together and all got to be on the same page. And that's speaking just on last couple points, with the Pirates, is not only that the starter's been good, their bullpen has been lights out so far. And I mean, I had more faith in a bullpen going into the year than the rotation. So having them in the back end being that well, and if they're getting those quality starts, they have that much more rest for a long season, which that's huge, especially in the beginning of the year when pitchers got their pitch counts, they're getting ramped up. That getting rest at this point of the year is huge, so they can go through the daily routines. They're getting ramped up in their off days, and so if they can be held out for when later in the season, that's even better.
Yeah, that's exactly correct. Now, I feel like you have a handful of teams that are favorites within their division. I think the Mets are still a lot of people's favorites. I think people still view the Cardinals as one of the favorites in there. People still view the Dodgers as the favorites out west, especially with, the Padres are only playing 500 ball.
Yeah. Just got Tatis back, though.
They did just get Tatis back. Let's see if he'll be able to transfer those things.
Exactly.
Where are the teams that people aren't looking that you feel like can do some damage in the NL?
In the NL?
Yeah.
I mean, it was even within the division, but right now, the way the Cubs are playing right now, and they made some nice offseason moves getting Bellinger on the squad. You got Dansby, your boy Dansby.
Yeah.
He's playing great too. And
surprisingly, I didn't think he was going to be able to do that, but he started out hot. Let's see if he'll be able to keep that up.
Yeah, I mean, and the one reason I say the Cubs right now is I'm looking right now that got plus 48 run differential right now, and they got that, and they're in third place in the NL Central.
It's such a jam-packed division right now.
It is.
Where I don't know any team is looking bad. I think the worst team out of that is the Reds, because they're young, they're still developing a lot of talent, but damn, they still look good.
Yes,
they gave the Braves trouble. They gave the Braves trouble when they were in Atlanta, even though the Braves swept them. But they were competitive all 3 games. Now, it's tough to say, team swept them, but they looked good. And the fact that there's 5 good teams in that division right now, it's going to be tough. It's going to be interesting. Will there be a team in that division that is able to win over 90 games? Now, one thing that's changed within this MLB season is that it's more balanced schedule. So everybody's going to be playing everybody at least once, whether it's on the NL or the AL, which makes it a little bit more different. In past years, if they were playing their division rivals as many times, it would make the NL Central a lot more interesting and scary for a lot of teams because everyone's looking good. But I'm going to tell you this. It's not the Cubs that I think are going to be the ones that shock people. I think it's the Brewers. I think people are underrating the Brewers. The fact that they have a good pitching staff, their bats are consistent, and if Yelich comes back and hits like he can, oh my goodness! Scary. I mean, that is a scary team that consistently made the playoffs, and just fell apart last year. Otherwise, they would have made the playoffs then too.
Yeah, they definitely are. I just feel like they always are overlooked. They're never a team that even when they really had those playoff runs. I mean, they were like, oh, the Brewers, but it's still the Cardinals. It's always been the Cardinals division for the longest time, and I just think with Milwaukee, it's just I don't know. There's never really fully capitalized. I mean, what's the deepest playoff run that they've had? Even when they had that little run they had of a few years ago, I don't think they made it past NLDS. If they even made it, did they?
Yeah, I don't think they made it past the NLDS.
And
they haven't, and that's the hurdle that they haven't been able to get over.
Yeah, and they got the craziest thing is their rotation's always been good, and then it had a bullpen too with Hader and Williams, and now Hader's gone, but still, usually pitching in the playoffs, your rotation's huge.
Right.
When it comes to those series games, especially in NLDS and ALCS and the World Series, so. I mean, they right now they are scary, and I mean, Pirates haven't played them yet, so we'll see. And Pirates have had, I mean, early 2000s into the early 2010s. Their record on the road there was absolutely terrible. Even just they could never beat them. So in years past, they've actually kind of went over that hurdle. So we'll see. I mean, that's gonna be a fun series. I mean, if they keep playing both teams like this, so I'm looking forward to seeing those games.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like you said too, with a jam-packed division like this, like you were saying, with the schedule change, it does kind of hurt the teams that it could benefit a team that does struggles against the divisional teams, and then that like I said before, when we were offline and just talking sports, and I was just saying how Pirates the years in 2013 all the way to 15, but especially in 2015 when they had 98 wins, they had a better record out like above 500 record against every other division in baseball that they played that year, but they had under 500 in their division, and that's what cost them
Yeah.
the division title that year. So if history holds true, if they still are like that, but I mean, you just don't know. Each team can be different when that comes to that. But and that I'm just kind of holding on to that. Hopefully, that benefits the Pirates playing more teams outside of their division, and just hopefully the other teams that play those teams will end up losing to them. So yeah, it's just going to be a boxing match. It's going to be a long round boxing match, and then not until probably maybe in the next month you might see some separation. But right now, I mean, with St. Louis just got past the Reds after tonight's game, but I mean they were in last place, and like you said, you can never count St. Louis out ever. Especially they still have their squad they have. I mean their lineup and their pitching's down this year, but their lineup is just nasty, and they have a good defense. So we'll see. It's just going to be a long season. So I just hope that the Pirates can play above par. They got to keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah. So my favorite out of the West is still the Dodgers.
Oh, absolutely.
They've been a little bit banged up recently. But the thing is, like, San Diego cannot be consistently good, even if they made it to the NLCS last year. But, I think part of teams being able to make it to the NLCS and things like that has a little bit to do with being the hot team at that point.
Yep.
And you can tell that in the NLCS and then in the World Series that the Padres were not a team that was actually that good. And then you saw that when the Phillies ran out of juice, they weren't the team that beat the Braves, that won in that wild card. And that's the biggest picture about that is, thinking about that, over 162, is San Diego going to be good? Are they going to be better than the Dodgers? Because I don't see Arizona being better than the Dodgers. I sure as hell don't see Colorado being better than the Dodgers.
Even San Francisco's dropped off after their surprising run that one year.
Yeah, they haven't been able to replicate that.
Nope. Yeah, I mean, it's the Dodgers, and it's between the Dodgers and the Padres, and I think Arizona's gotten better enough where they're going to kind of hang around, but they're just obviously not there yet to make that leap and take over the Dodgers.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's those three teams are what I see are it's going to come down to, and especially the two. It's going to be Dodgers and Padres, and like you said, the Dodgers still own that division. I mean, they have for the longest time. I mean, Padres obviously have been adding the last 4 to 5 years now. With all the prospects they had, they just unloaded them all and just built to their win now mode, and they still just can't get past the Dodgers. I mean, it's been get some good matchups, but it's like they get to that point and they just can never get to their full potential. What they have, like they're one of those teams that have a really good lineup, but it just seems like they just
on paper, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean, and they just can't. They don't. That's where that chemistry comes in. I don't know if it's the chemistry or what it is that they just can't mesh as a ball club and just get things going to where their potential that they have.
You know how I feel about those intangible things like chemistry, momentum, all that other stuff. But I do think you have a point where something's not gelling right when you get people like Soto, who has not been impressive at all in San Diego.
Really,
since he was traded there, he has not been impressive. Hasn't been anywhere near the hitter that he was and was supposed to be while he was in Washington. That guy hasn't shown up.
He has not.
They could be a scary lineup if he shows up, but that's a big if. Manny Machado, over the past couple of years, came back to where he was. Is he going to be able to be consistent? Now, one interesting part that I think may be able to put that team over the top is Bogaerts. He's been on a winning team. He's also been on quite some losing teams, but he's been on the winning team before. He knows what it takes. He's had great chemistry on those teams in Boston.
Yep.
I
I think
wonder if
that's why it was
that
a
can
good pickup for them.
translate over because that team in San Diego, for all the talent they have and all the money that they spend, disappointing.
Definitely. And I mean,
And
their rotation, too. We were just talking
yeah,
about their lineup.
and
Bullpen.
I think they have more talent than the Mets, and the Mets have
Yep.
been very disappointing with all the talent and money that they
Absolutely.
spend, and that's hard to
Yeah,
do.
it is. Their owner will just, he don't care. He'll just get whatever you want. It
So
is.
I mean, I think you know who I want out of the East and who I think is going to be the East. I mean, people keep picking outside of the Braves, but you know,
I mean, Braves
until you
just the
knock them
last.
off the hill,
I, yep.
then I don't know how you can see that Braves team last year in what they did and won the division in the spot that they were in the way that they had to play late in the season, including sweeping the Mets. If they did not sweep the Mets in that last series, they would not have won the division. Their division chances were zero.
Yep. That literally was the only. Yeah. I mean, they were backs against the wall, and like they know when you count on this, they had to win, and they won. And that's one of those things you said. Like, there's teams that you expect, like a Mets team to do, or a Padres. That's what they don't do.
Yep.
They choke, and they just. I don't know what goes on there. It's just like I don't know.
Yep.
They had such a good team that they should be able to do that, but they can't.
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, even more with that, with Atlanta, like counting them out, it's like, how can you count on a team the year they won a World Series didn't even have their best player?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that is just insane to me that when they won that year, they didn't even have Acuna. But like I mentioned before to you too, is it's just the moves they made in that offseason were just perfect for that year and that team. Getting Soler,
Yeah.
they got
Perfect
Rosario that
moves.
year.
Perfect moves. Ridiculously perfect moves.
Yep. And that's key. It's not this flashy big signings. It's the GM of the team should know
Mm-hmm.
the clubhouse and what fits
Yep.
that team and what it needs. And when you go, oh, we'll get the best player available out there, and oh, he'll come in, and that's just not how it works sometimes. I mean, sometimes it does, but I feel like it's smart to actually look at it as the fit for your team, and that's how it is like in football as well. When you have to fit the schemes you run and everything, and some players don't fit certain schemes, but that I think that's a big part of it too. Is like when you look at the Mets and Padres, they just get those flashy players and spend the money, but they just
Mm-hmm.
don't mesh with what the rest of the team and what even the ballpark or what it is. It just doesn't work out.
So outside looking in, because I'm biased.
Mhm.
Who did you have winning the NL East at the beginning of the season?
I still had the Braves, but obviously, for like an outsider looking in, I mean, you look at the Mets and their rotation. They just got Verlander again this year to add to that. I mean, they lost Degrom, but they add in Verlander, even though he's aging. Verlander's still, I mean, just still producing. It's just amazing what he's doing at his age, at the level. Especially after coming off the injury he had last year, and it's just I just don't have faith. I can't put all my faith in them because they haven't proven, like you said, you can't get out the Braves until they're actually a reason to do it, and like getting overtaken by another team, and they just haven't. No team has done it yet. They had a chance last year. They blew. What was the lead they had in the division? They blew
It was 11 games.
11 games, and that is so hard to do, to blow an 11-game lead in a division in baseball.
Mm-hmm.
That is hard to do, and
And
that's
now,
what I'm saying.
to be fair, they blew 11-game lead while also still winning over 100 games.
Well, very true.
And it really just speaks to how damn good the Braves are. And the fact that the only thing they lost was Dansby. They added Sean Murphy.
Yep.
Acuna
It's a lot.
fully healthy. And people still put them third. I mean, I try not to be biased, but I just want people to be realistic on what the hell are they looking at and why do they keep discounting this team? It makes no sense. And I don't even think it's a respect thing. I think people respect the Braves as a team. But they give more respect to the Mets and the Phillies. It's not just one or the other. It's the Mets and the Phillies. We're just like,
man.
well, what is going on? Someone please help me realize what the hell is going on with that. So maybe I got the poor colored glasses on. Maybe my glasses are blurry. Maybe I gotta clean them. But I tell you what, my glasses ain't seemed dirty in 5 years. But people telling me I'm wrong. I just want to know how. Right? I mean, it just it doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't.
And I'm trying to so hard to stay away from this getting on national media or getting on these pundits or everybody hates Atlanta sports thing. It's just, no, I just want to look at facts and say, what are you looking at? What are you really looking at? Because people aren't telling me. Even though these teams have added some really good players, like Philly adding Trey Turner. But look at them, they're below 500.
And then I think that's where it is. It's people don't look at it analytically and deeper into it. They just see the players that are going there that they know they're superstar players going there, so they're like, oh yeah, they're gonna. I gotta count it. They're gonna be division winners. Yeah. I think that's a big part of it. I mean, Braves have good players. I mean, of course, Acuna and getting Olsen, but like even when they got Olsen, I mean, he wasn't like a superstar like coming over. Like people, because I mean, you lost Freeman, you get Olsen, and that almost. I mean, it is a downgrade in a way. Obviously, Freeman is just a freak, and for what he did for the Braves for all those years.
Yeah.
And that leads into, I wanted to ask you a question. Since now we're in what year? A little over now, full year of Olsen last year, and then a little bit of this year. How do you like that replacement for Freeman? And would you still rather have Freeman than Olsen right now?
Oh, damn, that's a tough question. I don't think so.
You wouldn't want Freeman, or you?
I don't. I mean, the thing is, Olsen is really good, and younger. So what am I supposed to? I think if realistically, it's a really good trade, and it's a really good signing. And Freddie's still a phenomenal player. But let's keep it real, like for the team overall, like how much of a difference is Freddie from Olsen? And Olsen is providing a lot more power right now. I think Freddie's always going to be an average guy over Olsen, but the power and stuff like that, it just works for this lineup.
Yep.
And then when you're comparing the money, the age, and everything, long term, it's smart. And short term, it's not bad either.
Yeah.
So, I love Freddie. I really do. I wish we would have re-signed him. I wouldn't have been upset. But I'm sure as hell not upset that we traded for Olsen. And I think that's the biggest thing about all of that.
And that's like an outsider looking in on the Braves as well when it comes to the Olsen. And then, I mean, Austin Riley's just been killing us the last 2 years, too. He's just stepped up and just absolutely mashing the ball. And those two in that lineup, along with Acuna and Harris, now Michael Harris after last year, Rookie of the Year. I mean, it's just a nice lineup that they have now. And is Ozzie hurt still, or is he playing?
No, he's back. He's doing his thing. Got himself a 2-run double tonight. Already has 4 home runs this year. He's doing fine. Michael Harris is hurt right now.
Oh, Harris is hurt. Okay.
And, some of the Braves bullpen has been hurt. But they've still been doing well. It looks like they're going to lose tonight against Houston. But, Houston's a really good team. And the bullpen
their record doesn't show it right now. But, yeah. I mean, the Pirates faced Houston as well, and they were luckily got one game, even though it was a walk-up. But, I mean, I was happy with just winning one against a team, especially from the Pirates' perspective. Being a team like Houston, that's huge, even if it's just one game.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Braves are at that level where you kind of expect them. At least it's going to be a good matchup. You hope to win the series, but definitely expect to win at least one. which I'm sure they will. Because I mean,
Yeah, they better win
Houston's
Sunday
been-
when we're there. I tell you that
That's
much.
right, and I cannot wait for that matchup, especially in
It's gonna be a
person and
good
first
one.
time in Atlanta for a game. I can't wait, man. It's the atmosphere too, because I mean, this is a great baseball um, atmosphere. I've heard, so I'm looking forward to it.
Let's talk about the AL.
All right.
You know, we're both on the opposite side. You know, we aren't too biased over there. Um, I think Tampa Bay is clearly one of the better teams over there by just how balanced they are. Balanced lineup, great pitching throughout.
Mm-hmm.
What are the other teams that's actually doing well? Because I'm not sure anyone's really sticking out.
I mean, Yankees still have like the 12 wins, but they're not sticking out though. Like you tell them they just feel like they're just kind of like up and down so far this year. They'll have like a good little couple games and then they'll lose a couple, and it's just not consistent so far.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Baltimore still. I mean, they're 11-7 starting out right now. I mean, they last year coming out and winning was it 80 some over 80 games, I believe, right?
Yeah,
Last year.
they did
I
well
mean,
last year on a team that wasn't supposed to. The thing is, I'm not sure if they were ready to take that next step, especially when going back to how that having that balanced schedule, having to play everybody. That actually seems like it works against a team like that, that is young, more travel, further travel.
Yep, you're right about that. I didn't think
It
about
could
that.
be tough.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
And
it's going to be interesting to see how teams do respond to the different kind of schedule, but it doesn't seem like that Baltimore team is a team that will be able to sustain that because they're just so young.
I agree. I mean, I think one team. I mean, they're in fourth place right now, and it's Toronto. I mean, the way some of their guys in their lineup are hitting, it's their pitching that's killing them right now, and they got a good rotation.
Mm-hmm.
I think once they get under control, it's early in the season. Sometimes pitchers, especially with this new pitch clock, I'm sure it's affecting a lot of pitchers.
Yeah.
Some in good ways, some in bad ways, and I think once they get adjusted, if their lineup's been good the last 3 to 4 years, obviously as well. And in this pitching, I mean, they got a good pitching and they got a good bullpen too. And if they can get it all together, I think they can go on a run. And by the end of the season, I think they can be. I mean, I could even see them. I mean, right now they're playing the Yankees in the series, and they were winning big last I saw. And I mean, I could see them almost even being ahead of the Yankees even. I mean, Tampa right now. I mean, it's early. They have a plus 83 run differential right now, which is
they've been
asinine.
balling. They are going to be a tough team to beat.
133 runs scored through 19 games. That is insane. And I mean, but to them, I think playing everybody else helps them too. And the fact that because AL East is still probably the toughest division of baseball, I think you can still say that. And with Boston being not as good, maybe not as much. There's still other divisions that kind of are more like NL East would be the other one. I think they actually, but you got Washington in that one, but they're very similar. But I don't know. I think Tampa's going to be up there like they always are. They're always hanging around. You never really count them out. But I can see Toronto at least leaping past the Yankees this year. But Garrett Cole's been balling for the Yankees, so he has been lights out so far this season.
I think Toronto has the talent to do it. It's just that they haven't been able to show it consistently, and that's what they're going to need to do.
Yeah, I think
they
year.
go through these different runs, and they look like they're going to be in playoff position, and then at the end, you're like, wait a second, they didn't make the playoffs? Or when you look at last year, where they went to the playoffs, and then they went up big, and then they lost a big lead. It's just like, it kind of goes back to, it reminds me of San Diego. How they have all this talent, but just can't put it quite together. They have the pitching, they have the bats, they have the bullpen, but something is just holding them back.
Yeah.
And the thing is, it seems like they're a team that likes each other. So, we can't just put it on chemistry.
No.
So what's going on there to where, they can't take that next step, because we've been waiting on them to take that next step for a couple of years now, and they haven't done it.
And you can't say they're young anymore because I mean you got Bo and Vladdy been in the league what now 4 years now or maybe even more. Maybe is it 5? Is it at least 4, right?
Let's
Or
see.
3
Did
or
they
4.
come up in 20 or 21 or 20 or 19?
It's either 19 or 20, so it's like 3 years.
So
But
3
I
or
mean
4 years around that they've been in the league.
they're still younger in their
Yes.
careers, but still like you can't put that excuse. Oh, they're young, they haven't figured it out
Right.
yet. Once they, I mean,
Right.
let's get to the point. And
They
you
aren't
had
like
George
Adley
Springer.
Rushman young.
Yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
there's this is the time when they're supposed to show that they're able to take the next step.
Absolutely.
And quite
And
frankly, I haven't seen that.
And then adding George Springer last year, I mean, that's huge. Like, that's a great pickup by them. He's been in World Series with a great team who's had, I'd say, a dynasty over there in Houston, and being able to come and have that experience. And he still, like last year, he was on the team, and that happened last year. So I don't
He
know
also
what's
gets
going
hurt
on.
a lot.
He does get hurt. That is true. But so does another team in the NL or the AL East in the Yankees as well. But
Well, Stanton always has a perpetually torn hamstring.
it's something with his
So-
hamstring. Something goes wrong. I think he's hanging on by a thread.
That shit ain't even hanging on. It's
I don't
just
think it is.
dangling.
It's just dangling.
I,
Oh,
I don't know what he can do to better prepare himself and his legs, but I don't know.
either.
It's just wild how every single year, 2.5 weeks into the season, he pulls his hammy. Like, what's going on here? Like, at some point, are you going to can he make a change? I mean, I remember how my hamstring was. I mean, I also didn't take care of it, and I also didn't have millions of dollars of training
true.
people, facilities, equipment to help me deal with that. So, whatever Stanton is doing, he needs to change something.
Absolutely.
Because it would be idiotic not to think that him being hurt doesn't have some effect on the Yankees, because it's not like he's just missing 15 days. He's missing 3 to 4 weeks at a time.
Mm-hmm. Those are big gaps. It's a whole month.
Big gaps. And it makes me
Absolutely.
think, when are the Yankees going to take that next step?
And they're the ones too that you look at that. And the crazy thing about the Yankees is they haven't really been spending money. I mean, they'll spend on a couple players. I mean, they got Carlos Rodon, but he hasn't even pitched this year, right? He was hurt early in the year, so
Right.
so when they just signed, he hasn't. So we'll see once he comes, and he might really help that rotation and make a nice little run there and see what they can do with Tampa and keep up with them, because right now they're 4 games out.
Mhm.
But it's that they have young players coming up, and like they have like the perfect balance. They can spend when they need to spend to get a certain player, and then they also have a farm now that they're being able to grow within their system and bring up as well. And you look at it as an outsider, oh, that's dangerous, because they got best of both worlds. Because before they really were just trading away their prospects and just pretty much just use their money for everything. But now they're putting it all together, and they're still, though, they haven't won since 2009, which is just crazy to me, a team like that.
Mhm.
And I mean, they got a good squad on paper again, and it's just, I don't know. It's like they can get to the end. Like last year, they had a heck of a year. You had Judge have a record year, and you still. Where did they finish last year? They get to the CS, or they get just knocked out in the DS?
It was Houston versus who in the ALCS?
I'm trying to remember.
I can't remember. Was it the Yankees?
Was it Yankees? It might have been the Yankees again. I can't remember, but still, they still even had. When's the last? Have they not made a World Series since?
They haven't made a
2009?
World Series since 2009. Teams that
That
in their
is
division
ridiculous.
that has made a World Series since then has been Tampa
And
and
Boston.
Boston.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So,
Yeah.
it's very interesting how these other teams have shown that they're able to take that next step that the Yankees just haven't. And it's not for a lack of talent.
Absolutely not.
It's just that they haven't been able to get it done for whatever reason that may be.
That's right. And like if you move on to the AL Central, I have no clue who's going to win that one.
It's the same thing every year. None of them are really that good. And then the oops, almost did it. And then the Guardians just go in and then win the division and then get knocked out in the first round. That's how it happens every single year.
I mean, I could see the Twins this year, maybe. I mean, they're leading right now, but even then, they still aren't. They made some additions last year, and they actually terrible last year. And then, but I don't know. I mean, that's just a toss up. I mean, it's more than likely they're going to be Minnesota or Cleveland. I mean, White Sox have fallen off. Their pitching has been terrible. They've been hitting the ball well because I was there in person for that opening day game for the Pirates, home opener. I mean, they were hitting that whole series. I mean, just crazy. But their pitching was just giving up those runs. But they just have fallen off. White Sox had their chance.
Mm-hmm.
They just I think blew that opportunity. Now that they're getting old, they lost Abreu to the Astros.
Yeah,
they still have a decent squad, but their pitching, especially their starters, just are not. They got Cease, I think, their best one. They lost Rodon to the Giants last year. I mean, I think that they just missed their opportunity. They had their shot and just blew it. And of course, Detroit and Kansas City. And definitely Kansas City. No,
I mean,
Detroit,
they're just not good teams. They're just not good teams.
Detroit
Detroit is getting better, but they spent their money on Javi Baez, what they shouldn't have done.
Yeah, how long have they been rebuilding? Like, a rebuilding team should not have got a guy like that. Like, they are not there yet. Now, if they were there, maybe, but even then, they've been rebuilding for so long. It seems that ever since they had those World Series runs when they had Miggy and Prince Fielder. And Castellanos, you had Verlander in there, you had Scherzer, just the God squad that they had assembled back then. Yeah. But ever since then, after they lost that, their time was done. And then, of course, Miggy's contract, you've been holding on to him for all these years. I mean, he's the last one remaining from that. But
that's because he's not getting that money. He said, "I'm gonna keep playing. Yeah. I don't care if I gotta go out there with a crutch. I'm getting my money." He said he was gonna get his money.
Yeah, he sure is.
I don't blame him.
But I don't blame him either. I'd be doing the same thing if I had that opportunity. So that division though, I mean,
it is what it is. I mean, it is really not an interesting team over there.
It really isn't.
However, the AL West is very interesting. You got the Mariners, you got the Astros, and the Rangers are looking like they're for real.
Yeah.
They still got to figure out their pitching over, an extended amount of time. But as we knew last year, their bats are for real. Yes. And they have a top-of-the-line pitcher and some young guys that are doing well and can play. That's a team that I think you got to look out for. That's a team I don't believe you want to face in a 5-game series.
No way.
You don't want to face that. Those bats are for real. Simeon continues to play at a high level. Seager, even though he's hurt right now, he plays at a high level. They got Josh Young. He's been playing very well. They've got the pieces.
Yep, and then it's
going to depend on their pitching.
And I think DeGrom is. I think his first start didn't look great, but I think now he's starting to get. He'll settle down. I think it's more just getting. Like I said, who knows how much this pitch clock's affecting some of these pitchers that were successful.
Yeah.
And everything, but I think over the you'll get the season, DeGrom's still going to be a top 5 pitcher in Yale for sure, even in MLB. But I think that pickup for them was it was surprising when he got. I was like,
very
wow,
surprising.
Texas actually got him.
But it's looking good if they're able to stay healthy.
Yes.
Those guys got to stay healthy. Seager's got to come back and stay healthy. DeGrom's got to stay healthy for the whole year. Because if he's not able to stay healthy for the whole year, that team's going to be in trouble.
I agree.
I did not think we were going to spend 45 minutes talking about MLB. So let me just transition real quick before we get out of here. NFL Draft is in 6 days.
Time. Oh, can't wait.
What do you want Pittsburgh to do?
Oh, what I want them to do, they got pretty much two first-round picks, technically. Obviously, they got a 32nd pick, which was Miami's pick that they had to give up, so that put one pick, even though it's the second round. There's some talks. What I want them to do, obviously, is get a cornerback first, if that's the best available. Definitely get a cornerback if that there are some there and available. But cornerbacks usually go pretty early too. Definitely that and a linebacker for sure. They definitely lost a lot in their linebacking core, losing Devin Bush, which he was worthless anyway, and then losing Miles Jack as well. I mean, that was their two starters last year, middle linebackers, so they definitely have to get one. I mean, they can do well drafting, maybe not this first two picks, but definitely a cornerback. And it's going to be a heavier defensive and maybe even a lineman within the first, at least to the second to third. But also there's some talks about them trading up a pick too. I mean, if they have to, I really wouldn't want that. But I mean, if there is someone there that they really think, I mean,
they should not trade up.
No,
the position that they're in, they'll get a guy without needing to give up other capital.
Yep.
And it's the same thing that I feel about the Falcons. Ain't no reason to trade up unless they're able to get one of two guys. C.J. Stroud or Bryce Young.
Yep. I
don't believe that they're going to be able to get either one of those, even if they want to trade up. So where I think they'll go is out of two people. They'll get the cornerback out of Oregon, Christian Gonzalez, or they'll get Bijan Robinson.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, it's going to be one of those two picks. As my man Kiwi would say, that's a guarantee.
It's a guarantee.
It's a guarantee it's going to be one of those two picks. Am I able to make a guarantee if I say it's going to be either or? Is that okay?
I think so. I mean, it's one of two. So
all right, there we go. It's a guarantee.
Because there's a lot of options at that point.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be one of those two people.
All right. But hit your bookies up.
That's right.
And what I want, I guess now I'll actually go more detailed with mine for at least the first pick. I hope he's available, and it just for the history of it, if we can get that Jerry Porter Jr. Is it Jerry Porter Jr.? I think it's Jr. Joey Porter. That's a Jerry. My goodness.
Yeah, I don't know who Jerry Porter is. You don't want Jerry Porter. I'm gonna tell you right now, that would not be a good pick.
He's a bum. No, but Joey Porter Jr. They're still saying that they're still they're hitting some of the mocks, everything. But I hope he's available there because
you're going to be able to get him at 32. I honestly believe you'll be able to get him at 32. You need to do some mocks before Thursday.
I will.
So we can definitely talk about who was right and who was wrong. But do some mocks. I'm telling you, you're going to be able to get him with the 32 pick if you want to wait.
All right, we'll see. But yeah, definitely cornerback first. Definitely. If there is one, I don't want them reaching for a cornerback at that point. So
no, there's no point in reaching.
So I think if the cornerback will be first priority, and if the cornerback is not there, then I think they'll just probably do best available at that point of what their need, or just best available.
You can't say that. You can't say best available of their need. You just mixed two strategies. You just mixed best player available in by need. How you gonna do that, man?
I don't know. Somehow.
Goodness gracious. Hey, this has been Slippin', man. This has been a blast. You can follow me on Twitter at Beardian_Twitch. You can follow the man at the Postman Mitch, or Postman Mitch, excuse me, not know the. It's Postman Mitch on Twitter. You can listen to this on Spotify. You can listen to this on Apple Podcasts. You can listen to this on Stitcher. Until next time, y'all take it easy.
Be good.